Good morning, good people. I pray you're having a blessed day so far. It's Pastor Ty, and I'm here with you for the Sunday morning meetup. That's right, we're here on Sunday mornings, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time, where we get together to meet with one another and to meet with God. It's simply providing a space for God to do and say what he desires to do on our behalf. Again, Pastor Ty Dillon, and I'm excited about you being here with us today. If you do me a huge favor and make sure that you like, share, and do all the stuff you know to do when you're on social media. This time is not intended to be an online service per se. However, we do love to give you the word, share prayer with you, or whatever that particular Sunday entails. And so I appreciate you being on with us this morning. Even if you're watching this by way of replay, I want to encourage you. There's no distance, there's no time in the spirit, and the same God who's here with us live is right there with you as you watch this via replay. So blessings to you this morning, and thank you again for being here. I wanted to share with you just something real simple this morning. It's simple, but I believe it's yet profound. I believe that sometimes the most practical things can be absolutely life-changing and absolutely profound in our life. And so as I was sitting here in my office and kind of preparing to get ready to leave and all of that other stuff, or preparing to get on with you guys, I was thinking about, this thought really began last night. If you look at my social media feed, you'll see I shared this particular scripture in Psalm 20 and verse 7. In whom is our trust is the question that I happen to ask myself. You may not be like me. You may not ask yourself questions. I ask myself questions all the time. I even ask questions of scripture. I even ask questions of God. I'm not questioning God, but I do have questions. I'm not an infinite being. He is. And so I'm smart enough to know that I'm not smart enough to know everything. And so I don't mind asking God things. And so when I begin to kind of just mull over and think about in whom we're trusting in the midst of multiple mass shootings, and whom are we trusting in the midst of all the other things that are happening, whom are we trusting in the midst of wars, and whom are we trusting, all these things are happening, in whom are we trusting? I know we could just say, in who are we trusting? I get it, but in where's our trust? And the scripture so many times encourages us to put our trust, and I liken that to getting dressed in the morning. We put on clothes. When I got up this morning, I went in my closet, and I didn't stand there and wait for clothes to get on me. I put on clothes, and I'm curious to know if we are putting our trust in God. Here's what the scripture said, the one that I told you I shared on yesterday. Here's what that particular scripture says. Africa says, good morning. Hey, good morning to you. Blessings to you. Thank you for being on. Psalm 20 and verse 7 says this: some trust in and boast of chariots and some of horses, but we will trust in and boast of the name of the Lord our God. I think that's so much in that one scripture that we could talk about this morning. Some versus we. Are you in the some, or are you in the we? Are you on this side or the other? There's a clear line of demarcation, a clear line of distinction that's made in that particular passage, that there's some who are going to put their trust in, describes chariots and horses, and there's us, there's those who are on this side. We have made a choice to put our trust in the name of the Lord, and that's a key piece of the name of the Lord. One of the things I would encourage you about scripture is you have to always hear what the scripture is saying, but also what it is suggesting. And so why would he say the name of the Lord? Why didn't he just say put our trust in the Lord? I'm going to tell you why here in just a moment. What in the world does chariots and horses have to do with us in 2022? Pastor Ty, couldn't you use another scripture concerning trust? Why would you use this? I mean, we don't ride in chariots. We don't see horses on the street unless we're in some rural area or something like that. But these chariots and horses have to do with vehicles of transportation. It has to do with what we are relying on to get us there. Now, that probably registered with you a little bit better than just chariots and horses. But what are you relying on to get you there, to get you uh, to the place of success? What are you relying on to get you to financial freedom? What are you relying on to get you to that relationship? Who are you relying on to protect your kids? What are you trusting in the job which is a resource, or are you trusting in God, who is the ultimate source? What are you relying on to get you there? Wherever there is for your life, wherever you feel like you're headed and you're being called to, is your trust in the carrier? Are you depending on this particular thing, or this particular person, this particular institution, this particular your education, your degree? Are you trusting in that to get you there? That's what chariots and horses were designed to do, to get you there, and to get you there in grand fashion, get you there. That was the most expedient way to travel at the particular time. So what are we trusting on to get us there? Is our trust in the carrier, or is our trust in his character? He said, where do you see that in the scripture? Well, that's why he said, or some of us, or some of them, or some, they put their trust in chariots and horses, and they boast on that. They talk about it. Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is, I'm telling you, I'm about to, y'all know, y'all got folks like that too around you. I'm finna do this. We finna turn up, it's going to be this, they trust in that. And then he says, but we trust in, and we boast in the name of the Lord. The name, the name. Does that mean we're going around Jesus, the Lord? He's going, not necessarily. That has to do with his name, his good name. The scripture says that a good name is better than silver and gold. It has to do with his character, has to do with his integrity. It has to do with him fulfilling with everything that he's promised. So it takes character to fulfill a promise, because the promises are made on the front end and they don't produce until later on. So we always want to make sure that there's a person, or there's something that is of high character when we put our trust there. So are we trusting in the carrier? Are we trusting in what we can see? Are we trusting in what they said? Are we trusting in what they told us they might do, or they got the hookup over here? Are we trusting in those things? Our own education, our own charisma, our network, who we know, and what we're able to do, and all this other stuff. Are we trusting those things, or are we trusting in his character, what he told us, what the scripture tells us, what the word has promised us? Am I trusting in the name of the Lord? And I love the way that scripture describes that, because guess what? The only way he cannot fulfill what he's promised, he has to put some, put some smut on his name. He has to be a smudge on his name, or it has to be, his integrity cannot be intact. As long as his name is clean, as long as his name is good, as long as God cannot lie, as long as he watches over his word to perform it, we're in good shape. I can then securely and with trust. I can trust with trust. I can trust him to trust him. You know what I mean? I can have a peace in knowing that my trust is put in the proper place. And so that's really my word for you. I want you to understand this carrier versus character thing. This carrier, one of the things I look at scripture and I hear people talk about, the land of milk and honey. They talk about God promised us milk and honey. Well, actually, he didn't promise us milk and honey. He promised us the land flowing with. And the difference is carrier, milk and honey. If we're trying to just get to a means to an end, if we're just trying to reach a goal, carrier, whatever can get me there, whatever can take me. It don't make a difference what it is. If it's going to get me to that place, then I'm with it. That opportunist kind of spirit. Milk and honey. That's what I'm after. No, we said the land flowing with. In other words, there's a specific destination, and in that destination, everything that you thought you wanted, needed, and or desired will be there. It's flowing with that. It's not a one-shot deal, but it is flowing with those things that have been promised. And so it takes putting our trust in someone with character, and it takes us our character being intact, so that we recognize and know that we have to be true to our part. So I'm encouraging you to put your trust in the name of the Lord. Put your trust in his character. That's in putting your trust in it. See, the carrier, if you've ever lived in a place where they have public transportation, the carrier is on his own schedule. The carrier, you have to get on when it tells you to get on. You have to, back in the day, you have to check the bus schedule, or whatever it is, or the L or the train, whatever you're catching. You have to, whenever it comes, that's when the doors would open for you to get on. You're not in the driver's seat. You have to go wherever it tells you to go. You get off whatever it is the next stop, or whatever is your particular stop. You don't control the speed. You don't control anything. You are just a passenger with that particular carrier. See, with God's character, you're not just a passenger. You are a partner. You're a partner. The scripture says that we are laborers together with God. We are heirs of God. We're co-heirs with Jesus Christ. And so when I go with trusting in the character versus the carrier, then now I'm not held hostage to anyone else's agenda. I'm not held hostage to anyone else's ideas or things that they feel like I should or shouldn't have, or shouldn't do, or none of that matters, because now I'm in this space where I've partnered with the name that is above every name, and it is in that name every knee must bow and every tongue must confess. Hey, that's our word for the Sunday morning meetup today. You say, is that it? Yeah, that's it. I told you, it's not designed to be worship service. It's designed to give you a jolt and a boost, give you something to think about, something to meditate on, so that you can have the seed of this word that would ultimately change your life. Now, I understand if you want a little bit more. I understand if you say, hey, man, Pastor, I need you to unpack that some more. I want to encourage you to come and worship with us this morning, where you can get a full-blown service. You can be a part of what God is doing at the People Place Church. If you are anywhere close to Gadsden, Alabama, we worship at 201 George Wallace Drive at the venue at Coosa Landing. We'd love for you to be a part of this worship experience. It's going to be phenomenal. We start at 10 o'clock a.m. on Sunday mornings. We'd love for you to be our most honored guest and worship with us in person. It's going to be a blast this morning. I'm actually starting a new series this morning, and it is called Shine. This series is called Shine, and it has all to do with, as the world gets darker, so shall our light shine even brighter. And so when all these things are happening around us, we're not excited about the things that are happening, but we're certainly excited about what God has promised, his character, what he promised would happen during these times on behalf of those of us who are believers. So we'll start that series today called Shine. I'd love for you to be there to hear it. I believe it will absolutely bless your life. You ought to come and worship with us at the venue this morning. All right, guys, this is our time. Before I go, I also invite you to join us on Wednesday nights. We're right here for something called Midlink. Midlink is it's a little longer than this. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. We love right here where you are, wherever you're watching, Facebook, YouTube. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Mark your calendars and be with us on Wednesday nights. Will absolutely, it'll just be a blessing to you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. But before I go, I always give you an opportunity to give. If you're not, you may not be part of a ministry, or you want to, you believe in tithes and offering, or you believe in giving. Always like to give you an opportunity to sow into good and fertile ground. I believe that good seed and good ground produces a good harvest. And if that's you, then I want to give you that opportunity. That information is there on the bottom of the screen. We don't get on here to do to raise offerings. That's not what we do. But we do believe in the power of giving, and we do believe that you should have an opportunity, at least to have the option to invest in something of eternal value. And we have a summer outreach that's coming up. That's phenomenal. It's not coming up. We actually started really back in May. We started early this year, but I'll tell you more about that later on. But I believe it's something you absolutely want to invest your resources in. All right, guys, much love to you. I can't wait to see you later. We'll see you next time. Pray God's blessing over you and over your week, and that as you go throughout your week next week, that the blessing of the Lord will precede your arrival with a prepared blessing. We'll talk to you real soon. All right. Be blessed.